fired by the police on the steps of a landmark New York City cathedral after he opened fire at the people gathered for a Christmas concert on the footsteps of the cathedral. The shooting began just after the outdoor choir performance on the steps of this cathedral, and the New York police personnel fired back at the gunman. According to reports, the gunman was struck in the head and later taken to a nearby hospital where he was pronounced dead. The shocking scene culminated at St. John the Divine Church right after a choir was performing. And this was a part of an annual Christmas program. The New York police said that the gunman, a white man in his 50s, entered the scene and began shooting indiscriminately in the air. Officers later recovered 2 semi-automatic guns, a can of gasoline, knives, a rope wire, and a Bible from the shooting scene. The area in and around the cathedral has been cordoned off. Police officers say that they have gathered the name of the culprit and identified him as a person with lethal criminal history. However, they will only release the details after examining the fingerprints. Spokesperson for the Cathedral of St. John the Divine confirmed that although the gunman had fired on the police, none of the attendees were harmed by this act of violence.
Cathedral of St. John Divine today was hosting an event. It's an annual event that they host. Thankfully, this year with COVID, there was a much smaller event than normal. At about 3 o'clock, there was Christmas caroling on the steps behind me. At about 3:45 p.m., that caroling came to a close. It was at about that time, at 3:45 p.m., when shots rang out from an individual, if you look behind me, right in front of those massive doors, an individual firing shots. We had a police officer on the scene.
A group of 200 people had gathered on the stairs of the cathedral for the concert just a few minutes before the shooting incident. Witnesses were left shocked by the incident and later claimed that the gunman kept shouting, quote-unquote, "Kill me," several times while firing shots in the air.
I was in such shock that it took me, my legs like got frozen, and it took me several moments before I ran. I was like, I couldn't believe what was happening. It was just so surreal. I couldn't believe it. And then when the realization came into my head that this was a real shooting that was going on, then I ran like crazy.